Hey, welcome to the Weekly Fury right here on the Sports Fury. It's Thursday, January 26, 2017. And I'm Josh.
And I'm Sean.
And we got a lot to talk about this week. Of course, we're going to start things off red hot with the NFL playoffs. And we're going to start the first game, Packers and Falcons. Man, Sean, me and you, we both kind of called it in our NFC AFC Championship picks video.
Oh, yeah.
We said that Atlanta was going to be too much for Green Bay. However, Atlanta just stepped it up another notch. They weren't just too much for Green Bay. They annihilated Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers sitting there on the sidelines just like dumbfounded, like, can't believe this is happening. Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, that was an embarrassment.
What were your takeaways from this game? What'd you think, man?
Well, it just shows that Falcons, that offense is just that good.
Yeah.
I don't think, I don't think anybody can stop them. I really don't.
Number one offense all year.
They have the two great running backs.
Yeah, Devontae Freeman, right?
Yeah, Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. Then they have Julio Jones.
Some people have been calling him Devontae Coleman.
Devontae Coleman, really?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that. That's an interesting one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, honestly, another takeaway I took away was not just the offense of Falcons, but I just feel like the Packers, they ran out of juice. They just ran out.
I mean, we already know they don't really have a running game, and a running game
no
you
defense.
Can't. Yeah, and really no defense. I mean, not that even if they had a decent defense, it wasn't going to stop that offense. But you know what? My biggest takeaway from this game.
Think about it though. They ran out of juice, and I think they ran out of juice then halfway through the Cowboys game because they didn't really do anything in the second half of the Cowboys game.
Hey, but you know what? My hat's off to Green Bay. You know, they weren't just one-dimensional. They were basically one guy, Aaron Rodgers, and he took them pretty far. You know, take them to the NFC Championship game. That's pretty commendable, and you got to respect that shit. But my biggest takeaway from this game, though, even though the Atlanta offense is just looking they've been doing what they've been doing all year. But my biggest takeaway is the defense. That defense is just continuing to get better. I mean, they are just so fast. They are so athletic. They got some young players, but they're good, man. These are some good, talented playmakers, you know. And I'm just looking at this team, and I'm going, this team has dynasty written all over it, you know? Why not? This team has just been so impressive.
Yep.
You know, Dan Quinn taking over that head coaching job, you know, coming from Seattle, he has really built up that defense. He knows what he's doing. He's got the right personnel. Oh yeah. This defense is amazing. And they're young. Yeah, so they were annihilating Green Bay's offense, and Atlanta Falcons. My takeaway from the game is their defense is getting better, and to match that offense, these guys look unstoppable. And Green Bay had no chance against Atlanta, and we got that game right, and they are now into the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So, so that now getting into our next topic, away from the game, Matty Ice. He's in his 9th season, right? And so he's been in the league for a while, and he's always teetering around that mediocre status, you know. I've always been a fan of him. I like how he plays, you know, and I just always thought there was other factors as to why, you know, Matt Ryan didn't ever really get to that next level. And this year was his best year of his 9 years in his career.
Hands down.
So the question is Matt Ryan, after what you're seeing, after what you saw this year, is he now elite? Is he now in the caliber of a Brady, a Rodgers, a Breeze? Is he in that realm?
Oh, man, you know, if you look at just this year, then yes. But if you want to be in that elite status, you got to do it consistently. So he's got the tools to do it. He's got the talent to do it, but we got to see him do it.
Yeah.
I said give it another year, which I think he can, man. They have a great young team. Julio Jones is not going anywhere.
Right. And
all these players are still young.
Mohamed Sanu, he's been great with them. He's been making plays.
He complements Julio Jones really well.
Yeah.
And not just that, they have a pretty decent offensive line now. After they went and got Alex Mack from Cleveland.
Yeah.
He's been phenomenal. that offensive line. And that was the biggest weakness for Matt Ryan before, is his O-line. So I'm glad that he's got something there to showcase his talents.
And also a running game. I mean, they've been trying to make that running game work for a long time. They
had Steven Jackson.
Yeah, they went out and got Steven Jackson, who was already past his prime. He was worn down from the Rams. They got a legitimate running game. They got a legitimate offensive line. They got Julio Jones. They got other guys who can catch the ball. Now that Roddy White's no longer in the picture, they got Mohamed Sanu. They got their tight ends. And
Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah, Justin Gabriel. He's really good. What's his name? Justin Gabriel?
Taylor
Gabriel?
Taylor Gabriel.
I'm thinking about the wrestler, Justin Gabriel. But he was making some plays too. So Matt Ryan, you give him those tools. Yeah, I put him in that class because he could do that again next year. I put him in elite status. Now, would you say, comparing other quarterbacks who have been put in that towards that tier 2, borderline tier 1 status, would you take Matt Ryan over Cam Newton?
Oh, yes.
I would.
Not
to disrespect
it's nothing against Cam Newton.
Right. But
I personally, I like a quarterback that can. I like a quarterback that can throw like him.
Would you take him over Russell Wilson?
That's a tough one, but I'd have to say yes. The reason is because his deep throws are probably one of the best in the game, right there with Aaron Rodgers.
He was the most efficient this year.
Probably of all time. No picks downfield.
Yeah, and now
phenomenal.
Would you take him over Andrew Luck?
Whew. That's a tough one. Just because Andrew Luck, he's been hurt, he's been injury prone these last 2 years. Mm-hmm. It's a little scary.
Yeah. And remember, very borderline offensive line, running game. Gore did very well this year, but nothing scares you. So no defense.
That's a tough one, though.
Who would you take, Matt Ryan or Andrew Luck?
I would take.
That's really tough. I love Andrew Luck. He's really.
I would take Matt Ryan because I've seen Andrew Luck. He's made some dumb throws a lot, and he's gotten picked off for no reason. Like he's being sacked and he just throws it up and he gets picked off, and I don't like that. Like you got to sometimes just take the sack and just live to play another time. Another drive. So
I know for fantasy purposes, me and you kind of go back on Matt Ryan. 1 year you got him, 1 year I got him. You had him this last year.
Championship a few years ago, I think I had him. Yeah.
And now next year, going into next year, because I don't think he's going to surpass Rodgers or Brady anytime soon.
No,
but then again, who knows, right? But
we'll see.
would you say he could surpass Drew Brees next year?
Man, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to draw the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, those guys have been doing it for too long.
And those receivers that Drew Brees has, oh my god.
And Drew Brees has had some shit teams too, and he's done still. I think he's had 5,000 yards. Like how many times now?
Yeah. So you still got Brees over Matt Ryan. And Brees is still there. He's still the guy.
Yeah.
Brady, Rodgers, Brees.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I'll say Matt Ryan.
This year's too good to ignore. He's got his groove.
He's had some good years, but this is probably the best year. But yeah, I think
entering a renaissance year. So yeah, Matt Ryan, I'd throw him in the elite. So would you. All right, going into the AFC Championship game.
Oh,
Steelers versus Patriots.
I wouldn't even call it a game.
The Patriots got out to a fast start. I mean, they were just annihilating. There's a ton of offense in that first half by both teams.
Yeah.
But the Patriots don't usually start off that quickly, right? And just gunning it. And I'm wondering if they felt like they had to because of what the offensive weapons that Pittsburgh does have.
Yeah.
But they were already underdog going into that game. Once Le'Veon Bell went out, one of the top 5 players of the league.
No chance.
Nope. Because that's what Belichick likes to do, right? He likes to take away your best player. Well, the thing about Pittsburgh, and one of the reasons why they were a pick for me, an upset pick, is because they have 3 elite playmakers. They got Big Ben, they got Antonio Brown, they got Le'Veon Bell, the Killer Bees, right? You take away Le'Veon Bell, because he got hurt. Now you can double, triple team Antonio Brown, which they did. They took out Antonio Brown. So now it's Big Ben throwing out to the other guys. And so Eli Rogers made some pretty good plays, but for the most part, a lot of his guys were dropping passes. And he even called them out later on in the game, but they were dropping a lot of passes, and it was over. Once Bell got out of the game, Antonio Brown's getting double, triple covered. It's over. It wasn't even close.
They really had no chance. And I hate to say this, but I put the game a little bit on the coaches on the defensive side wise for Pittsburgh. Because, when you go into this game, everybody talked about it. Everybody leading up to it. They said Brady against Mike Tomlin and their defense ever since he took over, they've been more of a zone defense. He's carved them up. He hasn't even thrown a pick against them. Mm-hmm. And you don't change it up. You still run the same defense when you know he's carved you up. Right. And he came in there and he showed exactly motherfuckers, I'm going to destroy you. And that defense just looked totally like shit. And they played pretty good the last couple weeks before that. Mm-hmm. And so they're without Bell, their defense playing like shit. Well, like Tom Brady just destroying them, I guess. They had no chance. Patriots dominated the whole game, and it was embarrassing.
Hogan. Why wasn't he getting fucking...
Was he the third receiver?
Was anybody paying attention to Hogan? He was fucking destroyed. What did he have with 9 receptions for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns?
180 yards, 2 touchdowns. I remember God. I was laughing. I was sitting at the bar and I was watching the game and I'm looking up, and before Tom Brady threw it to Hogan, it was he was wide open on the sidelines. I just started laughing. It was weird. I just started laughing because I felt like I was watching little kids play against the Patriots, and I just started laughing. Everybody looked at me. I'm like, dude, this is stupid. This game is not even fun to watch right now because it was so embarrassing. Hogan,
he's been cut by 4 other teams, and
he's the third, fourth option there.
But that's the power of Belichick and Brady. They fucking make you look damn good, and if you put in the work, you'll look good. And Chris Hogan, he's a workhorse, and Chris Hogan was amazing. LeGarrette Blount fucking couldn't be stopped. That dude is so fucking powerful.
What, 4 or 5 people?
He's running like Marshawn Lynch did a few years ago. He just can't be stopped. But Patriots, Steelers, Patriots destroy them. They go on to the Super Bowl again. But
7th time, record 7th time.
Now, Pittsburgh, though.
Wow.
Now, Pittsburgh, they made it to the AFC Championship game, right?
Yep.
But they had a lot of issues this year, especially going towards the end of the year, up until the very game. Le'Veon Bell, he starts off the year in a 4-game suspension because he still hasn't grown up yet. Maybe he has now, but that remains to be seen. We'll see again in the offseason. But he started the game with 4-game suspension the year. Big Ben, Antonio Brown, the Joey Porter situation. Antonio Brown, he had that distraction after their win against Kansas City. He recorded the locker room and everything, and that pissed off Tomlin. That created a huge distraction in the media circus. And then you pointed out to me that he was pretty pissed off during the Patriots game. Yeah,
there was some people were talking that he was pouting after he didn't get the touchdown and D'Angelo Williams did. Yeah. So a little diva there, and more about the stats.
So here's what happened. Yeah, like you were saying, D'Angelo Williams got the touchdown, and he was wide open, and he didn't get the ball. And he was so mad that he was the last Steeler off the field. He stayed on the field and was just sitting there pouting. And then once he got on the sideline, Ben Roethlisberger had to go talk to Antonio Brown and calm him down. Yeah. So, that affects things because you want your quarterback talking to your offensive coordinator and working on the next game plan. And he's having to go over there and calm down Antonio Brown. Even though they scored a touchdown, he's over there being upset. Remember Tomlin last year told Antonio Brown, stop chasing statistics? Yeah. He seems like he's still doing it. So, so with that going on, and then the Joey Porter situation, he got arrested, and then he was suspended, and now he came back very quickly.
Yeah, they reinstated him before the game.
What the hell is that about?
If it was a player, he would have been suspended for that whole game. It was ridiculous.
Big Ben. After everything that's happened, and after losing a big game like that,
Yep.
Big Ben, he calls out the younger players on his team. He calls them out, and for not catching passes and shit, and saying that the moment was too big for them. Completely forgetting. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or it's a bad thing. Because everyone's young, right? Starts off young and makes mistakes and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
But so is that fair to do that to younger players in an AFC Championship game against the Patriots, or should he just cut that in house or what? Because he put them on blast.
I'm a big believer on keeping things in house. I'm 100% believer on that in any sport.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say don't call someone out. You should make them realize that, hey, you
hold them
need
accountable.
Hold them accountable. Make them realize they have to work. They have to put in this work. They had too many drops, too many, that easily could have changed the direction of the game at any point. So I completely agree with that. But I don't agree with calling them out in public. That's a little bit too much for me. But sometimes people respond to that better. We've seen that in the past. So it's just me personally. I don't like it.
Yeah,
but maybe that's what they need. I don't know.
Because it comes across as all their laundry is out there for everyone to see and to talk about, and to, it's all exposed.
Yeah,
everything. That's what it seems like with Pittsburgh. I mean, it seems just like a whole mess. And even Big Ben seems like he doesn't really want to maybe not do it anymore, because he came out earlier this week and he starts saying things like, I got to think about my future, and even if there is going to be one, and he's contemplating retirement maybe. Do you think he will?
I wouldn't be surprised. And I say that because the only reason I say that, and I know it's crazy to think about, because why would you retire? You have Le'Veon Bell, you have Antonio Brown, which, we're not sure if they're going to keep Antonio Brown, but he's been hit more than any quarterback since he came to the league by over 100 times or something like that. And there's been seasons where he's been out. He's been hurt and he's been out half the season. He still has more hits.
Yeah, he's been brutalized over his career. He takes the hits, he gets hurt, and he goes out and plays anyway. And
that's going to take a toll, and he's old, man.
Yeah, he's not young anymore. And then after losing a big game like he did,
it's an embarrassment.
Yeah, you're probably going to think that kind of thing. Sometimes after winning or losing in fantasy, I'm like, I don't want to play this fucking game anymore.
Every year.
Imagine getting hit.
I have to deal with this every year. Josh, you're going to play. No, fuck this game. I'm never going to play.
Because you get so competitive. And imagine being a professional and you're getting stumped by NFL, defensive linemen and shit like that. And you lose a big game like that. And it's just, there's so much on you. And you're just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I think he'll be back next year. It's just a tough loss.
I do think he'll be back.
He's just emotional. It's been a hard season. He played hurt a lot. I just wouldn't
be shocked if he decided not to. I would not be shocked at all.
So, maybe there's some trouble brewing in Pittsburgh. Let's see if they get their shit together going into next year, because you know what? They're too talented of a team to be dealing with this kind of crap. And, keep your shit in-house and keep your house in order. You just lost to the New England Patriots. Take a page from their book and learn how they deal with things. That's the standard right there. Now, let's go into those Patriots. Belichick and Tom Brady, man. They're going to their 7th Super Bowl appearance. Record-breaking, man. They've been to more Super Bowls than anybody else has. Check this out. My Chicago Bears, this was brought to my attention by Mike and Mike in the Morning. I watched him every morning, and Mike Greenberg busted out this stat saying, hey, you know what? The Chicago Bears, my team, they're one of the founding original teams, right? They've been around since the beginning. Tom Brady has won more playoff games than the Chicago Bears' entire history. That's how good Brady and Belichick are.
Or how shitty the Bears are.
Hey, we're a fucking cheap-ass franchise. You can't be cheap in the NFL. And,
I think that stat backfired on you, John.
But that just goes to show, the contrast, Tom Brady and Belichick and what New England has been doing, as opposed to what some of these other franchises have been doing.
The greatest, the GOATs, man, they're the greatest of all time.
Yeah. So, okay, well that was my question. Are they the greatest coach and player to have ever done it? And me and you have discussed this many times over the years, and it basically went like this for like the past like 8 years. It's like, it's Manning or Montana, then Brady.
Yeah.
It's Manning and then Brady. It's still Manning, Brady.
But we can't argue Brady.
Yeah. It's
now
Brady.
It's like, all right.
It's Brady.
It's Brady.
It's Brady.
And I thought the same thing. I really thought that, Manning. But what Brady's done for so long, I think he's in his 17th year.
Show respect for the shit that he does, man. I mean, god damn it. I hate his face. I hate Belichick. His face. But they are the greatest quarterback and the greatest coach in football history.
How long has he been in? Brady hasn't. It's like 17, 14. I don't know.
15? He came into the league in the 2000 draft, so that's
17.
17.
I was right.
So
wow.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. But now between Belichick and Brady, obviously them together, that combination of greatest quarterback, greatest coach, has gave them all their success. But who would you give if you had to give? You have to give more credit to one over the other, Belichick or Brady. Which one do you go with? Who deserves more credit? The player or the coach? That's tough.
Right. No, I got it. And I'll explain why. It's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is more important. And the reason I say this is because of this simple fact. Pretty much he's had pretty much a good defense, if not a great defense, is almost every year. And he's done it with no-name players half the time, right? Or players out of their prime that he gets like maybe another year or two out of them. And then not just that, there's been a couple times where he's had to play without Brady. Mm-hmm. And he still won. Matt Castle, for example. Remember? Everybody thought, oh, my God, Matt Castle's really that good. No. It was because of Belichick. They still won 10 games. Over 10 games. So I have to go with Belichick because of what he does with that defense first. Yeah. And what he implements that whole atmosphere, that whole environment of the team. Because from top to bottom, it's the coaches, it's the players, it's everybody. Because we've seen some of these guys go somewhere else. Josh McDaniels, and he fell apart. And he came back, and he looks great. Like, oh, my God, he's one of the hot commodities again. But it's that environment he builds. And look at Martellus Bennett. He's been a problem child everywhere he goes. Dallas, Chicago. And then he goes to the Patriots, and not one peep from him. So it's like, I got to pay respect to Belichick in that regard.
Well, yeah. I mean, those are things I'm not going to disagree with, but I probably will go Brady because, I've heard this before by other, players and stuff like that, and our analysts, and I tend to agree with him saying that, you have a coach who can draw up the best game plan, but you need your players to execute, and no one executes better than Tom Brady, and yeah, he's had success he's won games with Matt Castle. He's won games with some of the quarterbacks he had to deal with this year when Tom Brady was suspended. But those aren't he didn't win any playoff games. He's not going to any Super Bowls without Tom Brady. He never did. And I'm not saying he never will, because I'm pretty sure he's going to continue to coach after Brady is done. But once Brady is gone, I don't think you're going to see any playoff wins. They probably make the playoffs, but you probably won't see any playoff wins from the Patriots for a while. So I'm going to lean towards Brady because Brady just destroys it out there. He sees things that Belichick probably didn't see, or didn't draw for, or didn't plan for, and he just destroys teams. So I'm going to go with the edge on Brady, but again, we're kind of splitting hairs there because they're both the two greatest. Once Brady is gone, Belichick will continue to coach, and he'll still find success, and one day he'll find his way back to the Super Bowl, but it'll be a while.
We'll see.
Okay, now staying with Belichick and having to do with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep.
All right, so you brought it to my attention that Belichick almost had something to do with Julio Jones not being a Falcon. So I was like, okay, that sounds kind of weird and interesting. So I looked into it, and back in the 2011 draft, when Julio Jones was being drafted, the Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff, he was wanting Julio, and he was thinking about selling the farm for Julio. And that almost never, ever works out. But
no, never.
He really wanted his guy. So he calls up Bill Belichick, a guy he worked for a long time, because Thomas Dimitroff did come from New England, and he asked his old mentor, what do you think about this? And just like you were telling me, Belichick, his reply was Thomas, I'm just telling you as a friend, I wouldn't do it. Obviously, Dimitroff said, fuck that. I can't pass on this guy. And they moved up to the 6th pick and drafted Julio Jones from the Browns, taking the Browns pick. And the Browns got like a whole bunch of draft picks from them. They ended up getting 5 total. They ended up getting a 1st and 2nd and 4th from that 2011 draft. And then they got a 1st and 4th in the next year's draft, 2012. And here's the guys they drafted, right? They drafted nose tackle Phil Taylor. I'm talking about the Browns here. Wide receiver Greg Little. Running back Owen Mercek. I don't even know who the fuck that is. Quarterback Brandon Whedon. And of course, running back Trent Richardson, who they eventually traded for to the Colts for a 1st-round pick, which they turned into Johnny Manziel. So, yeah, I would say the Falcons won that, but
hands down.
Yeah, what do you think about that situation? Because when you first told me about that, because I didn't know about this.
Yeah,
when you
first was a little shocking. I read about it, and I was shocked.
I was like, is that normal? Do people normally ask other franchises for advice? Like,
I guess I don't know, but honestly, Falcons GM was smart for not listening to him.
Ooh.
Obviously we see it now, but I look at it like this. I understand why Bill Belichick said no, because Bill Belichick doesn't believe in going after those big time players. He believes in building draft and building depth, and he's always about trading, getting more draft picks. We see that all the time. But I like what the GM Thomas Dimitroff, I think that's how you say his last name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. He was smart. Like, yeah, you can go Bill Belichick's way and try to build it how he does it, but you're not in New England no more. You're in Atlanta. This is your team. How are you going to build your team?
Exactly, dude. Because like you were saying
can't
before,
do it the way he does.
Like we were saying before when we were talking about Belichick and some of his success, a lot of his minions, a lot of his guys, Josh McDaniels, whatever, great coaches and great football minds, they go to other places and they try to be Belichick. They try to do what would Belichick do? And almost all of them didn't find success. And Romeo Cornell, once they get back into their types of roles, Josh McDaniels, everybody, once they find this is where I'm good at, they find success. And I think Josh McDaniels can make a good coach and stuff. But I'm glad that he stood on his own 2 feet. No, Belichick wouldn't do this, but I am, because I'm in charge and I want this guy, and I don't see anything else that's worth him. And
look how he's built the team. He's built that team the same way. These fast, athletic guys. And even Bill Belichick said it this week. Like, that's what the Falcons are. They're fast and athletic. And that's how he built the team, and he put his stamp on it, and they look great.
Yep. Now, would you do that? Would you have done that at the time?
Yeah.
You would have done that at the time?
Well, like if you, no, because I'm a little bit like Belichick. I like to have draft picks.
Right.
In my philosophy, in my mindset, if I was a GM, I'd rather have a lot more options rather than one. So I probably wouldn't have myself. Now, looking at it now, of course, anybody would have made that trade. But back then, be like, no, I'd probably take 5 draft picks over 1. Or was it 4 or 5? Yeah, 5.
Yeah, it was 5.
So
I think I would do 5 drafts, and those are like first rounders and shit.
2 first rounders, 2 second rounders.
I don't think I would do that much, but because I don't think the Browns. I think the Browns probably would have took less. Who knows? We weren't there, but I'm glad that he recognized himself, and I probably would have done the same thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking way too hard on this. Yeah, if it was Belichick, he wouldn't do that, and he would take those draft picks, all those draft picks, and make gems out of them. I can't do that, and I can't really risk that because I'm new at this job. I'm gonna go get the guy I know will work, and fuck, that was a ballsy move, and it worked, and that shit almost never
usually,
works.
I will say this: usually, you don't see that kind of trade for a receiver. Usually, you see it for like a quarterback
or a running back,
and they did it for a receiver. God.
But you know what? But it worked out. That was great, and it brought up an interesting thing that we're gonna do once the NFL draft is gonna come out. Once we get close to the NFL draft, we're gonna look into some of the blunders of the NFL draft. I mean, we're gonna talk about bad trades, good trades, surprises, and we're gonna do videos on all those things, and I can't wait. So yeah,
oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I have so much to talk about.
All right, moving on to the NBA. All right, LeBron James made headlines this week, right? He and the Cavs have had a terrible month. They've lost a lot of goddamn games this year, and so far. And even LeBron James saying, you know, this has been a shitty January. It's been a shitty year so far. He is very upset. LeBron James is calling out the front office and his teammates, basically, out airing it out for the world to see and saying, we need a fucking playmaker. You know, saying we're not good enough right now. And LeBron James has one thing in mind, NBA Finals. Now, do you think LeBron James was right in what he said? Do you think he was being a diva? Or do you kind of agree with what he's talking about? Because,
well,
you know,
yeah.
Can this team beat the Warriors? Because that's what's going to come down to.
That's what's going to come down to, yeah. Now, I'll say this first. Everything he said is true. But, like we talked about earlier with the Big Ben thing, keep everything in-house, man. Like, if you got a problem, go to the front office, which he has. Mm-hmm. Go to the coaches, whoever you need to go to. But I like to keep everything in-house. We've seen him do this before.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I really don't like it. I lose respect for people that do this kind of stuff, that go out and criticize. And he's whining, he's bitching, he's crying. Even the interview, he lost today, by the way, and they interviewed him and asked him about Carmelo, and he's like, "Well, we can't." What he say? He said, "We can't play fantasy basketball. We can only focus on the people we have." Well, weren't you just bitching about you wanted someone else? Now we're asking you about someone else, and you don't want to talk about it. See, that's the can of worms you open up when you start complaining and whining. Yeah. You open these kind of questions up, and it's another distraction now. So keep everything in-house. Is it true? Hands down, yes. Hands down. I don't think they'll be able to beat the Warriors. They added Kevin Durant. Who'd you add? Kyle Korver. Okay, that's not really equivalent. So hands down, yes, it's true.
But you know what? I kind of, as much as I don't like LeBron James, I kind of don't have a problem with this at all because of the franchise he's talking about, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I wouldn't say this owner is decent at all.
No.
I think LeBron James, the success they've had, is all because of LeBron James, but pretty much. And, you know, this has happened before. He's gotten coaches fired, and some of them were for no reason, like David Blatt. Like, I thought he was a good coach, but he didn't click with LeBron, so that was it. LeBron does that, you know, and maybe he feels like maybe he has to, because, again, we don't know. But maybe he doesn't have that great a relationship with Dan Gilbert, and he has to do that. He has to put it out there into the media to force him to do something about it, because the trade deadline's coming up, and the Cavs, no one is seeing right now is good enough to beat the Warriors. Not even the Spurs. My Spurs are right behind them, but they're like number 2 in the league. But they're not going to beat the Spurs. I mean, they're not going to beat the Warriors. So LeBron James is getting older. You know, he's only got maybe a few years left in his prime. So he's backed in the corner as far as his talent ability and that small window he has left to be the elite player that he is. And he's saying, get me some motherfuckers who can some playmakers like myself, like Kyrie Irving, and let's fucking beat these goddamn Warriors, because this team's not going anywhere and we need to beat them. We're the only ones that can stop them. And so I kind of don't really, as much as I don't like LeBron James, and he is a fucking diva, and I don't really agree with some of the tactics he uses, this instance, I feel like he's correct, because he's the best basketball player in the world still, and his window of his prime is dwindling down. And just like you know, like a lion or a wild animal that's backed into a corner. It's gonna fucking be very ferocious and shit like that. And I don't blame him.
Josh, can you do it again?
No, fuck you. I don't blame him, and I probably would do the same thing. Let's see what the Cavs do, which brings us to our next topic: NBA trades. Now, the trade deadline's coming up here in a few weeks. With at the All-Star game shortly after, and who do you think might get traded, and what trades should happen? Like, what do you make of the trade deadline? Well, there are going to be some players that get moved.
I think there are going to be some players that are going to be moved. I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be any big blockbuster ones. Mm-hmm. It would be, man. If anything, Carmelo should be moved. It just depends on what he does regarding his no trade clause. Yeah. Because I don't think the Knicks are going to do anything with him. He's not. I don't think he wants to be there. Mm-hmm. I think he lost faith in Phil Jackson and that whole offense. And they actually have some good pieces there. They do. They have some talent. So get rid of the cancer. Get rid of Melo. I think he might do good in the Cavs. But I think the Cavs are either going to go after Carmelo or maybe Dwayne Wade. There's some talks about him not being,
probably more likely.
You know, Dwayne Wade's shown that he's played good with LeBron. And it's not working out well in his hometown in Chicago right now. So.
No. Yeah, I mean, he came out on Wednesday and he said, hey, you know, he called out the team. He said, we're not doing enough and we need to... Guys need to be accountable for themselves and look at themselves and fucking recognize that we need to do better. We're not doing enough. That's not a happy camper there in Chicago. I can't imagine anybody being around Rondo would be happy anyway. I mean,
and that's another guy that I know they want to trade is Rondo, but I don't think anybody wants that motherfucker.
No.
So,
and as far as Melo goes, apparently there was already a feeler out there that was put out a trade of Kevin Love for Carmelo.
I heard that.
And Cavs were not interested in that at all. And you know what? And they probably, I don't know, maybe that would work out, but maybe not.
They would be.
I don't think any serious championship contender, I'm not really sure if I would want Melo on my team because the offense slows drastically down once Melo gets that ball. It just comes to a halt, and it's just one-on-one basketball. And I think the only teams that should really be interested at Melo at this point are the teams that just want to put butts in their seats. A Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh, no, because they're building something good over there.
Minnesota, I say Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers. Somebody who wants to sell tickets. I wouldn't fuck with Melo. If I was a serious contender, I know the Spurs won't be. No one should really fuck with Melo because he's proven he only cares about the money. He cares about the stats. He don't really give a shit about anything else. No matter what he says, that's what he has shown after all these years. That's what he cares about. Now
he gets his own, and that's it. That's all it is.
So here's some other guys who are probably going to get traded, or at least should be. The 76ers, they have three centers. They have Nerlens Noel, they have Jaleel Okafor, and they have Joel Embiid. So they're not going to get rid of Embiid. They're going to get rid of Noel or Okafor. So they have three fucking centers. They got to get rid of one of them. I'm sure somebody's going to want to take a chance on one of those guys.
Dallas. Mavs. Sure.
Oh, no. How about this? Andre Drummond. I think might be up for a trade possibly.
That'd be interesting.
So Mavs would love Andre Drummond. Or how about Boogie Cousins? He needs to be gone. I mean,
but he's got an attitude problem. So who's going to really want to trade for him? That's a big issue too.
I don't know. I don't know if
Dallas was interested in him too. But it's just the attitude. I'm not sure if I'd want him.
He's just so talented, and it's like, why is he's just wasting away there in Sacramento? He should go somewhere else. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Chicago. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Dallas. Boogie Cousins, DeMarcus, he's a great talent. I would take that talent with his attitude, especially being so young. I wouldn't deal with it with Rondo, but I could probably put up with it with DeMarcus Cousins because of all the stats he puts up, and in the right situation, maybe. Other guys that should be fucking cut, or not cut, but traded to be rescued. Anthony Davis. I think Davis needs to leave the Pelicans. He should go. They should do him a favor and trade him away.
Let him go.
Let him
God,
go.
He's so talented.
Let him go to the Eastern Conference. Put him on a team like the Boston Celtics that's up and coming, right? It's got a lot of great talent. Put him on there where, he can really flourish and shit like that and
or Dallas.
Build something. Or maybe Dallas.
I'm just everything Dallas. Come on, bring him to Dallas. Dallas is actually doing good right now. We just needed a couple more pieces.
And what about Blake Griffin? We've heard his name sometimes, and not last year because he was.
I don't think Clippers are gonna let him go because he's like a fan favorite.
This dude's always fucking hurt, man. He's so hurt. Are the Clippers tired of that shit?
I don't see it. He's a fan favorite, man.
And what about John Wall? John Wall, he's not flourishing out there in Washington. Remember when they were up and coming, and then I think John Wall.
Yeah, they kind of fell off for the last couple of years. They've been kind of stagnant. They haven't gotten better at all. So I think he just needs a new scene. I think he's still got the talent. I just think he needs a little bit more motivation.
Okay, so some guys that I think definitely will get traded. I think Rondo will get traded. I think Omer Sheik will get traded from the Pelicans because he hasn't even played. I don't even remember the last time he played. Andrew Bogut, he's not meshing well out there in Dallas. I think he'll go. But as far as big names go, I think the most maybe would probably be Dwayne Wade and maybe to the Cavs. Just because he's a high star caliber player, and when he voices his opinion, you usually kind of want to listen to him. He's like, if he's not happy there, let him go to the Cavs, man. Just go.
I think this will be his last year either way, though.
Imagine Dwayne Wade in that backcourt with Kyrie Irving, with Ian Shumpert coming off the bench at shooting guard, or maybe even sending his ass to fucking Chicago. I mean, who cares? Taj Gibson, I think, will probably go from the Bulls. His ship sailed a long time ago. He should have been traded a long time ago. Yeah, he's a great player. He was a good little workhorse.
He was good for a while. Yeah,
his time is come and gone. And maybe Brook Lopez. That might be another one of the legit big names that get traded from the Nets because we hear his name a lot in trade talks, and I think it's just time. I mean, this guy's been there since they drafted him, and trade him to the Bulls. I'll take it. So that's anything else you want to add to the NBA trades?
No, that pretty much covers most of them, man.
All right, let's stick with the All-Star NBA and go to the All-Star game. And the All-Star selections, they had a new system this year.
Oh, Lord.
This year, the fan votes count for 50%, whereas before it was 100%. Media vote counts for 25%, and the players' vote count for 25% as well. Do you like this new system? Do you think it works, or do you think it's just the same old shit? Now, granted, if there's any tiebreakers, if there's any ties, the tiebreaker is the fan vote. So the fan vote is still very important.
This will be the last time they do this kind of system.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they need to kind of get away from the players. There's been a lot of controversy about it. I think we talked about that the other day with Steve Kerr calling out the players. Yeah. There's players voting for themselves or voting for their friends, who they like. Take it out of their hands because no player is going to, if they don't like this guy, like say the rivals, right, and they don't like each other, even though the other guy should be in it, like LeBron and what's his name? Oh my God, I just got a blank. From Golden State, what's his name?
Steph Curry?
No.
Klay Thompson? Draymond Green?
Draymond Green, there we go. Draymond. I don't know why my mind went blank. My bad. I blame it on the beer. But they don't like each other, right? So you think Draymond Green's really going to vote for LeBron? No. So it's take it out of the players' hands. I don't like it. I don't even really like the fans voting for it because it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
And Westbrook not starting, this whole thing should be just blown up because it's stupid. Westbrook is destroying the league this year, and he's not a starter in the All-Star game. That pisses me off.
So that's my take. This is my take on it. They should change the rule. They should call it the Westbrook rule because this year was just absolute goddamn tragedy. And they should change it to give less percentage to the fans because obviously they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're going to vote for their most popular guy and their fan favorite. No, fuck that. That's not what it should be. That's not what it should.
With Kobe.
Yeah, it's not. It's not what. That's not how it should be. Yeah. And the fan vote should count for less, or at the very least, make the tiebreaker. Give it to the writers. People who actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't want the fan vote to count for majority of it. I just get rid of that because there's analysts out there, there's sports writers who know the game. They study it, they're around it, they live and breathe it, they cover it, and they know what they're doing, and that's just legit to me. And it's crazy that it's not that way, and so I think they should change it, and it's not right, and that you call it the Westbrook rule.
Fingers crossed.
So that about does it for this week's sports topics. If you guys had any other concerns, or if you guys disagreed with us or agreed with us on any of these topics, let us know. I want to hear what you guys have to say. What would you guys think about LeBron James? Would you agree? Do you not agree? And I want to hear what you guys think. Let us know in the comments below. But now we're on to call out, shout out. Who we're calling out and who we're shouting out for this past week. Sean, who are you shouting out?
My shout out goes to someone that I didn't think would be. It's a player that I didn't think would play, and that's Jordy Nelson. I'm going to give him a shout out because he played with broken ribs, got out there catching passes, getting hit, which is not easy. It's not easy. And no matter what kind of pain medication he was on, how many shots he took, it hurts. It hurts to breathe with broken ribs. So you out there running, getting hit, stretching out to catch a ball. I got to give him a shout out because that's a trooper right there. That's inspiring. And it sucks that obviously his team didn't win for it, but he went out there and just did it for nothing. But at the end of the day, he put his ass on the line out there, man, and I got to pay respect.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's your shout out. Now I'm going to give you my call out. Okay. My call out is the Olympics. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but they're taking away one of Usain Bolt's Olympic medals from 2008 Olympics.
What?
Why?
For what?
Because
let's see this.
One of the runners on his on the Jamaican team, after all these years, 8 years later, they found out that he tested positive for a banned substance, right? And so because of that, they are taking away the medals from everybody in Jamaica on the Jamaican running team, even though Usain Bolt didn't, take anything that was banned or whatever. They're still taking away from him, and I think that's just bullshit. That's so retarded. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why does he have to get punished, or the other runners from the Jamaican team? Why did they have to get punished because of this one guy? And that one guy is I forgot his fucking name. I don't think it even really matters. He's going to appeal this process because it seems that it wasn't
8 years later.
Yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't seem very clear that it was a banned substance at the time. So we'll see what happens there. But right now, they stripped Usain Bolt one of his medals. This dude is one of the greatest athletes of this era, this generation, and I think that's fucked up. And that's my call out. Now, what's your call out?
My call out is the National Football League, the NFL. They are pissing me off, and this goes back to my Cowboys.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay.
So, I don't remember halfway through the season, right?
Uh-huh.
That whole thing came up with a domestic violence case, and he was being interviewed by the cops. NFL started their investigation right away. And then it came out that, she was just trying to blackmail him. He had text proof. The DA dropped charges, like, there's nothing, no evidence. All his friends that she said that saw him hit her all said, no, that never happened. She's a liar. Pretty much no case, nothing to be heard of from since then. And then, out of nowhere, like right before the playoffs started, they're like, oh, no, we're still investigating it. This is the NFL.
Right.
What are you investigating? What? Please tell me, because I don't understand what you're investigating. He's got proof that this was literally a blackmail. So if you're gonna punish him for someone trying to blackmail him, that's stupid to me. Just drop the case or tell us if you found something else, come out with it. Like, just conclude the investigation and move on. And he handled it all year with respect, and he handled it very professionally. He didn't really gripe about it. He said, okay, whatever, do your thing. I'm not going to make this a distraction for the team. But after the season was over, he finally called out the NFL, and I'm right there with him, like, hey, give me a fucking verdict. Like, I'm tired of it. And I just want to call out the NFL. It does not take this long to investigate that kind of stuff. Come on.
Well, funny enough, my shout-out is the NFL.
Yeah, fuck the NFL.
Because the Pro Bowl...
What'd they do?
The Pro Bowl coming up.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to allow Phillip Rivers to play in the Pro Bowl as a San Diego Charger.
Yep.
Not a Los Angeles Charger. And I think that's a pretty classy move. They didn't have to do that because we all know how Phillip Rivers felt about moving to LA. He even once refused that he might even play if they go to LA. And so this gives closure to all of that. And he's going to play his last game as a San Diego Charger. That's good for Phillip Rivers. That's good for the San Diego Chargers fans. I know it doesn't make up for losing your team, but that's a classy move by the NFL, and that's good. So those are our call-outs and shout-outs, and what to watch. Sean, let the viewers know what you got good for them to watch out for.
Obviously not the Pro Bowl, because the Pro Bowl it really is not exciting at all. But I'm going to be watching
Which is a Sunday, right?
Which is Sunday, but today, actually, Thursday, it's going to be the Skills Challenge at 7 o'clock. I think that's Eastern time. I'll have to double check that. But they're going to show all that. I love that. That's my favorite part, seeing all these great players kind of do these skill challenges against each other, and it's a lot of fun. That's something I like to watch personally. Not sports-wise. Obviously, I've talked about it before, Arrow and Flash. I'm still trying to convince you, Josh, to watch Arrow and Flash, which might take me a while, but, those are the two shows. They just started back up this week, so I'm so pumped up. Going to watch it. And I think me and you both are on the same page on the Supernatural one. So,
yeah, I'll be
what's your what to watch?
I'll be watching the Supernatural as well, and I definitely won't be watching the Pro Bowl Sunday because I will be watching the 2017 Royal Rumble taking place in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. I was actually supposed to go to that, but unfortunately I'm not able to make it. I will be watching it at work, and I can't wait. And my prediction is Finn Balor will win the Royal Rumble. That's my wild card prediction for that. So if you guys are interested in wrestling, don't forget Royal Rumble this Sunday. Watch it on the network. It's going to be great. Last word, Sean. You got anything left that you want to say or you want to make a brief mention to about?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to but mention this stunning statement that came out this past week. Sweeney, right? Is that his name? Clemson head coach, Sweeney?
Yeah.
He came out and said something very interesting. This guy said that Deshaun Watson, who I like Deshaun Watson, I think he'll be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But he said if the Browns pass up on him, it's like passing up on Michael fucking Jordan. And
Jesus.
Jordan.
Right. I don't know about shit.
I'm sorry. I don't think anybody can ever say that. Like, out of respect for Jordan, who's the greatest of all time.
People need to stop doing that.
I don't think there's ever been a player. I don't think there's ever been a player that's changed the sport as much as he has. So, no, nobody can be compared to Jordan in a sense like, oh, if you pass up on him, no. No. Like I don't even like when LeBron's compared to him or Kobe or any of these other superstars. Like, I don't think anybody can be compared to Jordan. And I understand you're trying to boost up your player, and I respect that. But don't say Jordan. Don't say MJ. Come on. That's just, to me, it's like, that's a little bit too much. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort of bring that up.
It's a little bit over the top.
Stunned me.
All right. So, here's what I want to mention.
Yeah.
And so, kind of on a fucked up note, earlier this week, 2 baseball players died. One of them was 25 years old. He was a Kansas City Royals pitcher, Yordano Ventura. I mean, 25 years old, dies in a car crash. Didn't wear a seatbelt. And, you know, hearing that, I'm like, fuck. That really fucks with my mind. Because it's like, this guy is so young. He's a major league pitcher. And he dies. You know, that's tragic, man. That's messed up. And he wasn't the only one. There was another baseball player, Andy Marta. He also died this week. And so I just want to give a mention out to those two guys. Rodano Ventura. Fucking 25 years old, man.
Sad,
25.
Man.
Younger than me. Dead already. Talented.
Younger than me. Shit.
Baseball player. Gone. Huh. So, you know, that sucks. And, yeah. Just want to put that out there. Yeah. But now... Sad. That does it for this week's episode. Please let us know what you think of this week's episode. Any of the topics, let us know your thoughts on them. Agree, disagree.
Comment down below.
You know, and be sure to look out for and watch our Super Bowl predictions and breakdown video.
Oh, I can't wait.
We will be putting that out there. Make sure you go watch that. And we will see you next week.
Later.